Okay, let's dive right in. Most people think they're using AI the smart way, but here's the thing. They might actually be at risk of getting dumber. In this explainer, we're going to show you a much better way, a method to use AI not just to get answers, but to literally upgrade your entire brain. Right now, a huge gap is opening up between the average AI user and the most effective ones. You see, one group is just focused on getting tasks done a little bit faster, but the other group, they're fundamentally changing how they think, how they learn, and how they make decisions. Our goal today is to get you firmly into that second group. So, what's the biggest mistake people are making? It's falling into what we call the calculator trap. I mean, think about it. We have this unbelievable supercomputer at our fingertips, but most of us are using it for basic arithmetic. Summarizing articles, drafting simple emails. It's a massive, massive waste of potential. And the difference in the final outcome here, it's not small, it's massive. The calculator trap user, sure, they save a little bit of time. But the upgraded user, they're compounding their intelligence. They're actually thinking better, learning faster, and making demonstrably smarter decisions. That is the real unlock. So how do we get there? Well, it all starts with what you feed your mind. Part 1 of our framework is all about upgrading your inputs. Because that old saying, garbage in, garbage out, it has never been more true than in the age of AI. The quality of your ideas is a direct reflection of the quality of the information you consume. We're going to cover 3 really practical ways you can do this. First, we'll talk about taking back control of our social media feeds so we're not just passively consuming noise. Second, we'll build a personalized daily briefing to bring the absolute best information right to you. And third, we'll look at a powerful tool for learning exactly what you need right when you need it. Let's focus on that second point for just a moment because this is an absolute game changer. Imagine having a personal AI research assistant working for you every single morning, delivering exactly what you need to know. This isn't science fiction, it's something you can set up in the next 5 minutes. And here is the exact prompt to make it happen. Now, notice the key parts. You define the AI's role, you specify your industries, you demand concise summaries with links, and, this is so crucial, you ask it to explain why it matters. You're training it to find the signal in the noise. Okay, so you've upgraded your inputs. That's a huge step. Now for the real power move, upgrading your outputs. This is all about using AI not just to create, but to challenge, to act as an intellectual sparring partner that makes every single one of your ideas more robust and totally bulletproof. The reason this is so important is pretty simple. Our brains are just wired to fall in love with our own ideas. We get confirmation bias, we see all the positives, and we conveniently ignore the fatal flaws. I mean, every bad business decision in history started out as a great idea that nobody properly challenged. Let's look at a classic example of this. Back in 1985, the tech giant Intel watched its profits just crash, from nearly $200 million all the way down to just $2 million in a single year. Their core business was being completely destroyed by competitors. For months, the leadership team was basically paralyzed. Then, the president, Andy Grove, asked this single, powerful question. It was designed to just cut through all the emotional attachment and all the history and just see the situation with cold, clear eyes. The answer was immediate and obvious. The new CEO would get them out of the memory business. And that pivot into microprocessors, which was born from one honest question, led Intel to become a company with revenues of over $52 billion. That's the power of challenging your own ideas. So, how can we do this systematically? The strategy is called red teaming. You actively try to destroy your own plan to find its weaknesses before the real world does. And AI is the perfect red team partner. It has no ego, it won't hold back to spare your feelings, and it has a massive knowledge base to draw from. Here's a simple 3-step framework to do it. First, you ask for a pre-mortem. This forces you to imagine failure in order to prevent it. Second, you make the AI act like your most cynical competitor so it can find the weaknesses you're blind to. And third, you get it to rank the top risks so you can build a contingency plan before you ever get started. All right, we've covered inputs and outputs, but for this to really stick, you need one final upgrade, and honestly, it's the most important one. This is about your identity. It's about making a fundamental shift from being a doer of tasks to becoming a director of outcomes. A really powerful mental model for this is the 92-8 rule. The reality is that AI can now handle about 92% of the average knowledge worker's tasks, the research, the drafting, the analysis, the scheduling. Your new job is to obsessively focus on the 8% that only you can do. So what is that uniquely human 8%? Well, it really boils down to three core things. Taste, your intuition for what is truly excellent. Vision, your ability to see a future that doesn't exist yet and explain it to people. And care, the emotional intelligence to connect with people and inspire them to come along with you. Think about your work week. The task of scheduling a meeting? That's easy for computers, not very hard for us. That should be automated, period. But the task of deciding who should be in that meeting to build consensus and actually drive a decision forward, that's really hard for a computer, but it comes naturally to an emotionally intelligent human. That is your 8% zone. That's your area of irreplaceable value. Ultimately, this all comes down to two paths forward. You can be a consumer, just using AI as a shortcut to cut corners. Or you can be a creator, using AI as a partner to improve yourself and multiply your impact. That choice is going to define who succeeds in the years to come. So let's bring it all together. We've just covered a complete playbook to upgrade your brain with AI. First, escape the calculator trap. Second, feed your mind with high-quality inputs. Third, use AI as a sparring partner to bulletproof your outputs. And finally, shift your identity from doer to director by focusing on your unique 8%. So I'll leave you with this question. This isn't just about getting more done. It's about becoming smarter, more strategic, and way more effective. How will you use AI this week to level up how you think, not just what you check off your to-do list?